Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. That's a little bit of Little Rascals for you to have like the little, the little sign or whatever. Man, that's tight, man. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. So, as you guys know, we do have the Fischer Random World Championships rolling. So, I do have the round 12 game of the knockout portion between Wesley and Nodirbek Abdusattorov. So, man, you know what I'm saying? It's a pretty nice little game real quick. Little 960 action for you. And, of course, my ass was about to play in like 30 minutes, so I got to be repping the team and everything, son. Anyways, man, so anybody who is coming from the Philippines, I would say mabuhay to you. Kamusta na aking makaibigan. Masaya ako makinig muli. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. It's nice to see you guys again. Magandang umaga, magandang apon. Whenever you guys see this video, appreciate it very much. Anybody who is coming from Uzbekistan, I will say salam to you and rahmat. I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by as well. Anybody from around the world. But man, if you're ready to go, let's take a look, see what we got for this game, homie. Get my volume up. Bam. So we got the move B4. So, if we were going to relate this to a certain opening, it would be the Polish, also known as the orangutan opening. I don't know like where they got the name from. I forgot when I read about it. But, as black, of course, you're going to run into it because somebody's going to be like, bro, I'm going to try to throw you off 1,000,000,000%. So you better know what you're doing if you white, bro, because you're just going to get demolished if you don't, son. I had somebody play this against me in an over-the-board game. This guy always played like the craziest stuff ever. And he actually got in a good position, but I was able to win the game. But anyways, we got B4, B5. So both players have the same idea. Abdusattorov just says, bro, what's this? So I'm going to copy you, son. Whatever you do, I'm going to do. We do see the move E3. We got E6. So we are copying each other so far. So we got knight to G3. And then we have knight to G6. So we're still doing that. We got castles. Bishop goes to F3. And it is at this point that we break away from the copying. I will say this, though. With this diagonal being open, I mean, this is a really, really, really powerful bishop hitting this square right in front of the king. So even though the knight's protecting it, I mean, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. So Wesley sounds like, bro, I don't want your bishop anywhere near this thing. So we do see the move knight to F6. We got bishop taking A8, queen taking A8, and then we do have the move F4. So now we do have the rook, taking care of when this knight comes up here. Of course, the queen's not going to take, but, you have some rook lift possibilities against the king. So, it's a pretty flexible situation. Both players, they got like a pretty even position. So we do have the move A5. Knight goes to F3. We got pawn taking B4, queen taking B4. And then we actually have the move queen to D5. And this is recognizing that your B pawn is attacked. So instead of reaching into the cookie jar like so, which it's not like it would just be completely losing, but this is a really, really nice position for white to be in. So, we don't really just want to just be down a pawn. Well, not down a pawn, actually. Okay, so it's even. So it's not down a pawn. I don't know what I'm thinking, bro. Never mind. Anyway, backing up to what we had before. We do see queen to D5. We got the move C4. And I mean, the queen on this square also is attacking that pawn, so we just want to kind of like cut that off. So, pawn takes C4, pawn takes C4, and then we do have rook over to A8. It's never bad. I mean, of course, if you can get a rook down here, I mean, you have a lot of munchables going on, because you know how it is when a rook gets on the 7th, bro. So we do see the move A4. We got C6. We got queen down to C3. We are trying to make it pretty undesirable to push this pawn because this pawn is going to be getting hit. So we do see the queen going over to A5. And of course, I mean, with this queen leading, we're not going to be taking this pawn, so we don't really have nothing to worry about right now. But Wesley says, man, I don't even want to trade. Not only is he not trading, but he's also opening up this diagonal for the bishop, which is really, really what you want, So, I mean, both players pretty much have about the same situation rolling on. So we do see knight to D5, nice centralizing move of the knight. We do see the move F5, pawn takes F5, knight takes F5. So we have improved our knight. And that's something, a recurring thing that you've been seeing across these whole championships. Knights having to go to G3 or B3 and trying to find a way to try to centralize it, improve it a little bit more than it is. So we do see the move bishop to F6. Bishop takes F6, knight takes F6. And then we do see the move queen over to D3. We're not really attacking this pawn at the moment because this knight is nicely protecting it. But, it's something in case your knight wants to move. So we do see the move rook A to E8. We got the move H3. creating not only some, well, we don't really need any lift, but it's creating, you know, a nice little, you know, pawn push here. Because, of course, we can't just do this immediately because it's just a gone pawn. Well, actually, no, because the rook is protecting. So I guess I'm seeing things. That's one of the things I will say about this chess 960 is, like, because when you play regular chess, your mind and your eyes are so trained to notice certain things that I will say, for me personally, when I play chess 960, you know, there kind of are some holes in the scenario because, you know, you automatically kind of feel that certain pieces are in certain positions, and that's not quite the same with 960. So I think you probably have to go through kind of an adjustment period of playing it for a while so that you can kind of train, you know, your eyes and, you know, your intuition a little differently. So it does kind of counteract when you play regular chess a lot. So kind of like playing bullet and playing longer time control, kind of like that comparison. But we do see h3. We got rook down to e6. We see the move g4, like I was saying. We got the move d5. And we actually see the move rook c goes to c1, which does hang this pawn. So, I mean, it pretty much gets black in a really nice pawn up position. Now, there was another move in this position, and it was actually queen over to c3. Because the fact that this queen is undefended on a5, you have a way to continue to protect that a4 pawn, but then also attack the undefended queen as well, and that was queen to c3. And we would be putting a lot of pressure on this c6 pawn, asking, you know, kind of, you know, what does black want to do? There's definitely some possibilities going on, but we did not see that. We saw rook c going to c1, and then we did lose our pawn on a4. We got knight 3 going to d4. We see rook down to e4. We got rook over to a1. We got queen over to b4. We got rook f goes to b1. And then we do have queen to c4. And this is encouraging a trade of pieces here. But, you know, the interesting thing about the position is there is actually a complete win for white in this position. So if you want to go ahead and pause the video and try to guess, you know, what move white can play to completely win the game, go ahead and do so. Okay, so I think that a lot of people, they notice that the queen and the rook are actually on forkable squares. If you really just move this queen out of the way, you know, you can push this pawn. And so the actual move that you want to play in this position is actually queen to a3. As you guys probably noticed, the queen is actually trapped on this square that it's on. Can't go here, can't go here, can't go here, of course, can't go here, can't go here, doesn't want to go there, doesn't want to go here, or down here. I mean, and there's nowhere that the queen can go. Like all pretty much the squares that it can go to are taken. Of course, you don't want to capture here. That's going to be the only other possibility. So the queen is actually trapped at the moment. So, you know, black has to try to find some way to kind of counterattack somehow. And you would be seeing the move c5. And then you would actually be seeing your d3. And it is actually suggested for the rook to just take here and for you to actually give up the queen. Not giving up the queen, but, you know, threatening that if the pawn does capture here, you'd be taking back here. But that is like an absolute dream because, I mean, even when you take and you take and you take, you are in a much better position. You know, you have both of your rooks. You got the knight. So you're pretty much playing a rook against the knight. It's not really where you want to be. These are pretty weak pawns. They're going to get collected up at some point in the future. So we're all good to go. So that would be definitely the only try you can do in that particular situation. But you know, you are getting a, you know, monster position as a result. But we do not actually see that in the game. After we see the move queen to c4, you know, Wesley So just goes ahead and just trades. It's not like it's a bad move. It still keeps things fairly even, but queen does take c4. We got pawn taking c4. And we are going to be getting our pawn back after the move knight to d6. And then the rook goes up, and then we see knight taking c4. So everything is, I mean, fairly even. And of course, you do go rook to c5 because you do want to take care of this pawn that is on c6. But, man, it would have been really sweet to actually see that move, you know, queen to a3. I mean, I'm not sure what the time situation was, but, I mean, you know, Wesley So was a very tactical genius. So, I mean, I'm really surprised that he wasn't, like, you know, he didn't find that move. That would have definitely been a good one. So the rook does come over to c1, protecting the knight. We do see the move h5. Rook goes up to a5, and we are trying to attack the crap out of this c6 pawn. Rook takes a5, knight takes a5, and then we do have pawn taking g4, pawn taking g4, knight taking g4, and then we do see our knight a taking c6. And as you can see, everything is pretty dead even. It literally says triple zeros all the way across the board. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, what are we going to do in this particular position? Rook goes to A8. We do see king over to F1. We got knight up. Knight 4 goes to E5. We see king up to E2. Knight takes C6. Knight takes C6. And then we do see the move king to F8. You do kind of have to be careful because if you think that this rook is undefended and you move this knight at some point somewhere doing something and you move this rook back here, I mean, you would be subject to a fork right here, but I mean, that's kind of a long way off. So, basically you're just moving king to F8 to make sure that you have complete mobility with your rook and your knight. So you're good to go. We do see the move D4. So, I mean, this can potentially become something at some point, or even this pawn can potentially become something. But, I mean, pretty much one player would have to kind of like, throw the game all the way off. So we do see the move knight to E7. And, I mean, if you're white, you really don't want to really trade, but I mean, it kind of is the same difference either way, but we do avoid the trade. I mean, you want to try to keep some options on the board. Like if you, in your mind, if you really want to win the game, you are going to be trying to like avoid trades because it just simplifies things. And I mean, sometimes you can trade into a worse end game, so you don't want to do that. So we got the move G5. Like I said, that pawn is going to be the one that's going to want to get rolling. We do see the move E4. We got rook down to A4. We got rook to B1. We got pawn goes to F5. We see pawn takes F5, knight takes F5. And we pretty much get in a situation where we're like, all right, we'll go ahead and trade now. So the rook does go to F1. We see rook taking B4, rook taking F5 with check. The king going to E7, a rook taking G5, a rook taking D4. Like I said, I mean, there were so many different ways to kind of draw the position. It was like completely dead even. So, I mean, you can either just wait for a long time and do this, or you can just pretty much do it now, which is what they do. So as you guys know, I mean, it's pretty much, it's theoretically impossible to win this endgame. Like a king and a rook versus a king and a rook is always going to be a draw unless one player just completely falls asleep. And I'm sure there are some people who have blundered this game, but I mean, it's not going to happen right now. King goes to E3. We see rook up to D6. We got rook over to E5. We check. Rook goes to E6. And we have just both pinned our rook to our king. So, you can step up with your king and just allow your rook to be taken, or you can just take you can just take the rook immediately, which is what we see in the game. Rook takes E6. King takes E6. King goes to E4. So this white king has just taken the opposition of this black king. It's going to force it to move, man. But it is drawn. As you guys know, two kings is a complete draw, and that is what we see on the board. And it is at this position that both players have drawn the game by zero fold, king fold repetition. However you want to label it, bro. But that is that game. So, like I said, backing up to this point here, it would have been actually very interesting if we did get into this variation. It probably would have gone something like this. And I mean, you're just in a position, you're going to be pushing this pawn. And I mean, this is like bread and butter. I mean, these are some double pawns that are fairly weak. This pawn's going to be dropping some kind of way. So, I mean, this is just really, really where Wesley so wanted to be. So I'm sure after the game, he probably was like, dang, that was it right there, man. It really was. This was a really, really nice position. But I mean, that's how the cookie crumbles, man. Sometimes you miss tactics, bro. So nobody's perfect, man. But I appreciate you guys very much for stopping by. And I'll see you guys next time.